Right on. Well, it's chilly here. We just had a cold front coming in here in Texas. Surprisingly, we were prepared this time. Last year was a whole mess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
So,
the infrastructure is just not there.
yeah,
But
no,
that's good to
definitely.
hear. I'm glad to hear that.
It was cold. I'm telling you, it was pretty chilly. Yesterday, I had to sleep with a couple blankets on normally. So, other
Yeah, I
than
know.
that,
We just moved to Connecticut from Tennessee. So I mean, we both grew up in the north, but like, man, it like takes a second to get used to that again. It's crazy.
yeah, no, where I'm from South Texas, so it's
Oh wow.
generally just very warm. Usually the cool for us is like 70 degrees, and everyone's already bundled up with some jackets and everything.
Yeah.
So coming up here to Austin, it's just super cold, especially this is kind of like usually around 30 degrees is like the cool here, the average for the
Well,
nighttime
that's
here.
interesting. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I love talking about weather. I love this. We could do this the whole time. I love it.
You're
It's
not being sarcastic,
Yeah,
are
I'm
you?
not kidding either. Like I love like people are like, oh, you're talking about weather. It's like I love bringing up weather. It's
You know,
interesting. Like storms, the storm that came through for you, I think was the same one that got hit in the East Coast.
Yeah, we got some of that.
Because we
Yeah.
got a ton of rain the past 2
Our
days.
pipes froze and everything.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
man, well you would have loved my ecology professor. I tell you that. You and him would be best buds, man. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, just to kind of get into the questions, yeah. So I guess it's a general question for you both. Where did it kind of start for your band? Where did this idea of Boyscott come into mind for you guys?
Yeah, well, it was sort of a progressive thing. Like it took a little while. Like it was like I had been working on the ideas just for fun, and then I went to school in Tennessee and met some people who were like, oh, these are actually kind of cool. And so we kind of got together and started like, I don't know, just slowly working on them together. Like it wasn't even like, oh, let's do a band. It was just like, hey, here's what I'm working on. Like, do you want to work on this with me? And then like one person was like, yes. And then like there's a second person, and like we all kind of got together eventually and like spent a summer. I think when I was a sophomore in college, or the year after my sophomore year, we spent a summer and then like finished this album. But it wasn't even like a band yet. Like it was just like we didn't have like a name for the album or for the band. It was just like the album's done. We're like, all right, the album's done. I'm like, what's the album for? It's so funny thinking back on this. I haven't thought about this in a while. But
So,
yeah, so then eventually we started working with our friend Noah, who was running this tiny little tape label in Nashville, and we kind of like eventually like made it a thing. And then it was funny because we released the album, and then we're like, oh shoot, like we should play shows. Like this is a band now. We should do shows maybe. Because we hadn't even really like played live like fully. It's such a crazy thing. It doesn't make sense. Um, I think we did a pretty good job in the recordings of making it seem like this was something that might have been fleshed out in a proper way, but it definitely was not.
yeah, well, definitely, it was really good. I mean, I remember the first time listening. Oh my god, it was just I remember driving down the highway. We were going to the beach,
Oh,
and
cool.
one of my good buddies at the time just started playing I think Nova Scotia
Oh,
500,
yeah.
and I was just like, replay that song, man. That's a really good song. And the first thing I just put it on my phone, and man, I'm telling you, ever since then, I believe in 2017 when I found you, it's almost every single day when I put on shuffle that your song comes on, and I'm just listening to it. So it's just something that just brings back memories for me personally.
Oh, I'm
Um,
really glad to hear that. That's crazy to hear. It's like when we were making it, and even when we released it, like we didn't think, like we literally didn't think anyone was going to hear it. Like we just were making it. And it's just so crazy to hear those kind of stories. It's so amazing, and it's like the internet. Like that's how it got to there. I mean, we did spend the next like 5 years like um just like playing any show we could get and just saying yes to everything. So that definitely was part of it as well. But like I truly believe it was just like the internet brought that to you. I have no idea how. I don't know how it got there, but it did, and it's amazing.
No, yeah,
So
definitely.
we're
I'm
fortunate.
happy I heard it. I'm happy, and again, fortunately, it's more that. Crazy enough, now I'm sitting with you guys, the people who I've literally listened since I was young. So I think that's a whole turnaround here. But that's kind of cool. But more generally in your band, was there anyone who kind of inspired you to get into the music scene? Was there maybe perhaps your parents, some friends?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I was always just kind of interested in music. Um, growing. Oh, actually, no. You know what? Evan totally brought me into that world. Evan of the band Pine Grove. I grew up like directly across the street from him, and like he was always super nice. And so I grew up like going to see his band. And I think it was cool. Well, first I was going to see his band, and then like being introduced to bands through seeing his band was really cool. And it showed me that there's like a real scene. And then it was crazy to see that like, oh wait, no, there's like scenes in like every city and like small cities, you know? And that's what got me like super interested in it. And then I had just always been making song ideas for fun on my own. And then eventually when we all got together, I was like super stoked to then like try to be a part of it myself. So yeah, I guess I would credit Evan for getting me like introducing me to the scene. But I've always just been kind of interested in music for sure. I was lucky. I grew up in really close to New York City and New Jersey, where there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's definitely tons of bands there. I know that there's a couple. I don't know if you've heard Dirt By or Gustav, for example. They're kind of popping, kind of like you guys. But generally each time I hear a new band come out, it's from New York, and they're always producing bangers, just like you guys did. So I'm really like, maybe there's something with New York that just producing these amazing people. So that's just crazy to think about. But
Yeah,
it's
funny. Well, it's funny too because like Emma and I, we met in Tennessee, but we were both from up here. Like Emma's from Rochester, New York, and she got into the scene just through like with her friends.
Yeah, through upstate New York.
Yeah, she was lucky to like have friends that were like also into music and stuff. But I didn't really find that. I mean, I found that a little bit in high school.
Or into the same type of scene.
Same type of thing, yeah. Yeah.
And is like the music scene kind of big there in New York, like primarily?
Yeah, I mean, but it's interesting just because it's like the scene is like a bunch of different scenes, and it's like it's really interesting, and that's why we just love touring so much because like it's just so much fun to go to different. I mean, we've played in a bunch of different cities in New York, like upstate New York and stuff, and each scene is different. I mean, it's similar, but like it's just amazing. And I think that's why we love the East Coast so much because everything's so close by. There's like so many cities within like I don't know an hour or two. Yeah, 2-hour drive. You can get to Philly, New York City, New Haven, upstate New York. It's amazing.
Right on.
Boston, yeah. Yeah, thanks. I know. Yeah, it's great, man. It's such a wonderful thing, and it's just been such a bummer that it's taken such a hit the past few years, but it was nice to get to go on tour again and like relive that world. It's like amazing. We missed it so much.
Yeah, of course. So I guess kind of going into the next one, right? So why Boyscott, right? Is there kind of like a story behind necessarily that name that you chose for your band?
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, it's so funny, dude, because like I didn't when we came up with the name, I didn't think that anyone was gonna hear it and that it was even gonna be a thing. Like I was just like, oh, like this will be the Bandcamp name, whatever. Like it's a play off my name, and at the time I was like, when I was writing some of the songs when I was in high school, I was like a Boy Scout at the time, and it was cool because I had like a really cool, gosh, I haven't thought of this stuff in so long, but I had like a really great troop of people, and it all really just matters of if like the parents that are involved are cool and make it interesting. But yeah, so it was a play off of that, but so funny that now we're like really doing this and like that's our band name. It's like I just didn't put much thought into it.
Right on. Well, I guess kind of just straying just a bit away from the music, is there something that you guys like to do, maybe outside of music, hobby, sports, anything like that?
Yeah, totally.
We like to do a lot of like exploring different like hiking areas, and right now we live 10 minutes from a beach, 10-minute walk, and we just love going there and trying to see what we can
dude, it's so fun.
Washes up.
Yeah, and we like got into like bird watching when we were in well, actually we kind of got more into it when we were in Memphis, because we lived in Connecticut in 2018 and 19, and then in 2020 we moved to Memphis to be close to our friends
just for a year.
And yeah, we just got like addicted because we have this video camera that can zoom in like really far. It's like this tiny little thing, so we got like addicted to like finding new birds and stuff. And then we found these like pair of owls in this park in Memphis, and we would go back there frequently and like see them, and like sometimes we'd be able to summon them because we had a voice recording or a voice memo of them like making a noise.
Screeching.
Yeah, and they were doing this weird screeching thing. We recorded it, and then we went back to that spot and played the recording, and they freaking flew to us. It was amazing. So now that we're in Connecticut, we're just trying to find all these other spots. We've seen a bunch of
we used
different hawks
to when
and
we
stuff.
lived in Connecticut 2 years ago, or
oh shit, the beaver, yeah.
We would visit this pair of beavers.
And it was the same thing as the owls too, because they were always there.
Yeah, they were always there. They're right off this path, and people would be walking by them every day and didn't realize there were beavers like right there.
Yeah.
And
like feet away.
We would go every day for like.
Yeah, we would just stand like 2 feet away from them, just be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they were just like doing their thing. But yeah, that's something that we definitely do a lot.
It kind of reminds me too, because here on campus, here in the parking garage, my roommate and I, when we go out to go get some dinner or anything like that, it's the third floor of the parking garage, and there's these 2 pigeons there. I had the liberty of naming them Phil and Susan, and all the time, Phil and Susan, they're always inside the little cubby, especially now that it's getting really cold. They're just together, and I'm all like, sometimes when I'm leaving, I'm always like, oh, Phil just left to go get some groceries, or he just went out to go change his tires in his car or something.
He'll be back, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of reminds me of kind of what's going on there, and I think that's kind of interesting that you pointed out.
Yeah, there's something interesting about like, I don't know, you'll see a squirrel and it'll be like, I don't know what squirrel that is. I've seen a million squirrels, you'll see like a sparrow or something, like there's a million of them. But like when there's like a distinctive like animal, like its own person, you know what I mean? Like, and you're like familiar with it, it's just
that's the same
like beaver. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, there's something so special about that, like just as a human and like being able to like relate and like, it's just so cool. It's so amazing. There's this woodpecker that we see frequently near the beach. Oh my gosh, the sanderlings, the sandpiper are like these tiny little birds on the beach that are so freaking cute.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we're not always seeing the same ones. There's a bunch of them, but oh my gosh, it's like they're so funny. They're so funny. Cute. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what we've been doing. We've just been looking for shells and stuff and looking for weird stuff that washes up on the beach and I guess trying to make some new animal friends.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you my professor's email after this. Maybe you and him can have a chat about what's going on and everything. He like you is just very enthusiastic about nature. In fact, next week we're supposed to go to Port Aransas, kind of like a little beach here in Texas. So you should have seen him the other week. We were just driving through Austin, and those rocks, he was like, he's yelling in the van, "Do you guys see those bands on the rocks?" He's like, "That right there is the most solid pair of rocks I've seen." And we go to the trails there, and he's just like, "Do you guys know what cedar fever is?" And by the way, if you don't know what cedar fever is, it's more of this little like pollen on the plant called juniper trees. And when you, I guess, pull the plant, you just see like this big cloud of like pollen come out. And it was just like, oh my god. And he was like, "Hopefully you guys aren't, you don't have cedar fever. If not, you guys are gonna get awfully sick and everything." But the outdoors is definitely something that, especially this semester, for example, has just opened my eyes, because there's a lot of people kind of like you guys who are just enthusiastic about the outdoors and just wanting to explore every single part. And I guess kind of going back on your Instagram, you're always posting pictures of nature, always posting. And it's just something that I take to heart, because it's like, I'm usually just in my dorm room, just sitting on my computer while you guys are out there. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And this is fun to see. So
we were in the same spot.
No, we also sit and watch TV a lot.
Yeah, when it comes to the winter, so just trust me, we were in the same boat. But it's like, I don't know, it's cool. We're lucky to have sort of like a financial freedom lately, where we've been able to like move different places, and because we work remotely essentially with like music and stuff. So yeah, it's been amazing to just like go to different places, and then especially on tour too. Unfortunately, like the schedules are usually pretty hectic on tour. Like you got to get to the show pretty quickly, but anytime we can, we try to find like a really interesting, like landmark or
national
area.
Park.
And we killed it on the last tour. That was like really fun. We definitely like cut it pretty close sometimes, like trying to go see Joshua Tree on our way to LA and like trying to beat traffic. Like that was definitely like a close call, but
we made it.
But it was worth it, yeah.
There you go. Well, I guess this kind of leads into the next question. You know, if it wasn't for music, you know, where would you be right now? Perhaps maybe you'd be working in the nature area. How would that work out for you guys?
That'd be cool,
Yeah,
man.
we both studied film in school, so I feel like we would still be doing something artsy.
Yeah,
maybe in
yeah,
the film industry.
something creative.
I mean, we both still love film, and we make music videos, and we're making music videos.
We're trying to get back to the music video world and make music videos for eventual like new stuff. Because we're working on a new album, and then Emma's starting a new band, so we're working on her album. And yeah, but we're really stoked though, because over the past, I guess since the pandemic, since moving to Memphis, but I guess a little bit in Connecticut beforehand, we just because we have this camera that like zooms in super far, I forgot that I had it. And it's not a great quality camera, but it's pretty phenomenal. When you zoom in, the quality is not bad. It's more when it's like wide. But anyway, we've just been like addicted to that. So like, I guess we're gonna do a music video of like 100 animals, footage of like so many different animals that we've seen, and like somehow make it work with the music. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome and pretty funny as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had the privilege to actually listen to a couple songs when you guys were here in Austin playing, and it was amazing. So I'm hoping, and we'll touch that hopefully a little bit later on here, but yeah, I mean, I can totally see the whole nature thing fitting the whole vibe, and a little bit, like I said, later on I'll get into it a little bit more, but yeah, I can totally see what you mean there. But I guess kind of going a little bit more serious right here, you know, obviously we've gone through the pandemic since March of 2020, so it's already been almost like what, 2 years already officially. So I guess for your band, how have you tried to overcome it? You know, what type of hardships have you gone through? You know, where has it put you to an extent?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, luckily for us,
we're all pretty privileged, I will say. So
yeah, like we were able to get on unemployment, and that like saved us as far as like being able to just be safe in quarantine and be financially like all right, you know, like we're making money from streaming, so like we were super fortunate for that. It was a bummer that we could not tour. Like I think it was like a week before we were supposed to leave for like our first full US tour was when everything shut down. So that got canceled. And yeah, I mean, you know, for all musicians, it just really sucked. But we were just like super fortunate to like financially like be on our feet and not get affected too much. I mean, I think just earlier on, we knew we wanted to really prioritize music. So we would save money any way we can. So we were living in some pretty wild places that were super cheap. So we were totally good. And we had saved up, luckily. But yeah, no, just not having live music, it was such a bummer, you know, even just like mentally, it was such a weird thing to be able to do that again. This past fall was like such an amazing experience, and made us realize just how much we have been missing out on and how much we missed it. But luckily, you know, we had new music we were working on and stuff. So yeah, during the whole pandemic, we just been like recording and just tweaking and writing and working on stuff, and it's been pretty amazing. It's also been just kind of boring, you know, and kind of get sick of it. It's nice to have the breaks between like touring and then doing that and touring. But it was cool. We rented this like theater, like this Playhouse theater in Memphis that was at the end of our block.
Just because they couldn't put on shows or anything.
Yeah, I realized I was like, you know, I can't keep staying in this bedroom 24/7 working on music in our apartment. You know, like I was going crazy, and we wanted a safe option though. This was like early on you know, like mid 2020 or something in the fall. So yeah, I just like cold emailed a bunch of places that I knew like were vacant. Yeah. That being like this one Playhouse theater that was like right down the block from us. And they like got back to us and gave us like a really good rate to
just
use their
building
facilities. Yeah. And it was actually great. We recorded on the stage, which was a wonderful place to record because they had these huge curtains, like these huge black curtains on like every side. So it sounded really nice in there. It was pretty spooky though. It was an old place. It's like 100 years old. Yeah, it was crazy though, because we could explore in the theater. And we found their costume department.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It was just like an entire floor just filled with everything you can think of with costumes.
And did you hear about this thing? So I guess kind of going back to my days with the theater, did you? I guess, and speaking of, you guys were in a theater too. Did you guys have this thing called a ghost light there, inside the
Oh,
theater?
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
and we had
on the
that.
stage, always had to stay on.
Yeah, and it was weird because I remember my director, Joe Rodriguez. He goes and he was just like, every time it was like every time the students closed the auditorium around 6 in the afternoon, if there wasn't a show going on that day, we turn off all the lights and have just that one singular light in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was the most creepiest thing ever because in the mornings when I'd get there, he's like, "Hey, go turn on the stage." Everything was dark but that light, and you can't see nothing. It was pitch black, and I'm like, God, like I just crept, like just creeped going to the stage, and just I literally turned on the lights and just ran, and it's just a crazy thing. I guess it's kind of like a universal thing now that I'm looking back at it, right? The whole ghost light experience.
Dude, yeah, I literally would do that every day because I'd have to walk in. It was like a black box theater, so there are no windows. So it was just completely dark. And it was like pretty big too. It was pretty huge in there. So yeah, I definitely had to like get used to that, and like luckily the hallway down I could turn the lights off. But if I went through the front, I'd have to walk like somehow find my way. Because the ghost light only like lights up so much.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, that's so funny. I know, I'm surprised I never really felt too scared there because I would be there alone a lot of the time, just like working on the middle of the stage, just completely alone. And it definitely, I remember one time I was like, oh wow, I'm actually scared right now. This is the one time I've been
Oh,
scared.
because the power would go out.
Oh, that's why I was scared.
And
the
then it would
power
just
went out,
be
and then there was no
me.
ghost light.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. But
No, one time we were there and lightning struck and the power went out and I
Emma
was
screamed, yeah.
terrified.
Wait, I forgot about that. You just hear this huge lightning thing, and then yeah, just complete
Like it just
darkness.
definitely struck
Yeah.
right.
Luckily, our phones were charged, so we had a flashlight. But yeah, that was intense. And also another time, I'm pretty sure someone like turned the power off on us.
Oh yeah.
It was in like an interesting part of town where there would just be a lot of people. Like there were some homeless people that lived near there. And I think sometimes they get pissed at the theater because the guy that was like the what was he, the property manager? Yeah, he just like wasn't very nice to the homeless people that were nearby, which I always get so pissed at. But yeah, so I think they were like fucking with him and like turned off the power at the theater and the was in there. I was like, no, I can respect that.
No, I think the reason why I was particularly scared of theaters, especially when it's just dark, is I remember for I guess one project we had in theater, it was my freshman year in high school, and my director's like, he says, you come up with a very scary story and just bring it in. So I'm thinking we're all gonna sit in the classroom, just talk about it. He literally had the ghost light right in the middle of the stage. We all circled around it, and so he went to tell someone on the soundboard or whatever, like, put on some spooky music. So it was just like you can hear like the crickets chirping, just everything going around, and it's just like it was super eerie. But to your point, yeah, it's to me, it's a scary thing, especially I guess because we named our ghost, we named it Bob. I don't know if you've seen Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we went ahead and we named it after the infamous Twin Peaks ghost, right, or the monster, or whatnot. But I guess kind of looking forward now, or previous in this case, how has your tours specifically shaped you and put the live music scenes in perspective for both of you guys?
Oh yeah, I mean, oh man, it's been everything. It's really cool because like we first made an album without really like being involved in the live music scene, and now we're working on our second one, and it was more fun to. Wait, what am I trying to say?
Well, we met pretty much all the band members now we've met while we were on tour. So they were playing in their bands and we just would meet them.
I mean, it's pretty much everything. Like playing live for us.
Most of our friends we've met on tour, and
most of our friends in general,
like our best friends
in life are people that we met on tour, and like, and since our band is kind of a weird thing of like, it's just like a bunch of different friends of like whoever's around and like different people on every tour kind of. It's really cool because we really have like, we did a tour in 2019 and we met our good buddy Davey. Or we got closer to him that way because he was on tour as well, and a couple of the shows fell through, so we added him to our shows, and now he plays bass for us. And yeah, it's wonderful, and yeah, I started seeing music in a completely different way, and like all that you can do with a song, with like dynamics and like how to have fun in the set while you're playing, and to make things interesting each tour, and like have different ways of playing the songs. And for the new album, it made it more dynamic. I was just interested in I don't know, I was just so inspired by all these bands that we were seeing live when we were playing on tour and stuff like that. And it's amazing. It's a huge part of growth as being like a creative person, and just seeing other people do their thing. And you know, we have been doing tours lately where it's a fixed bill for each show. Like we were on tour with another Michael and Wunderbar every show. But when we would go on tours on our own, it was really fun as well, because we were playing with different artists every night. And yeah, that was really interesting too. But yeah, it's cool because I'm just so glad that music's finally coming back.
No, definitely, and I believe that correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Parker who you just barely, before I believe the tour, you just got him right in there to do the drums, and I was like, holy cow, this man dedicated all these songs, and it was just like right there and then he played it, and it was almost as if nothing, I mean, I probably wouldn't have guessed anything changed, quite honestly, but it was really sporadic, because I think like you mentioned, I believe, in the tour, you guys were fortunate enough to have him there, right there, for it. So I think that's kind of cool how you're just getting all your friends hopefully on this project, and I think that's very interesting. I don't think a lot of projects can say they've done that before.
Right, thanks. Yeah, and it helps us grow and also just makes tour more interesting too, because you're spending time with different people every so often. And yeah, it's just a little more exciting. Like Parker was probably our first member that like we actually knew the least before like him joining the band. It was kind of like a friend of a friend, but I had met him before. Before that, I'd always just like, oh, like this is our friend, blah, blah. But yes, it's wonderful, and it's just fun playing with different people too, because they bring different things to the table. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely stressful, like leading up to the tour, because we gotta get everyone prepared and tight with the set. But other than that, it's amazing. It's just really fun.
And I guess kind of going still on your tours, you know, is there any some memorable moments in particular that you guys have, you know, touring around? Especially, I believe this past one was your first North America tour.
Yeah.
So, how was that? You know, any memorable stuff in particular, you guys?
Oh man, that's a great question. I know I always have tough with this question, because it's like every single day on tour, there's like 1,000 stories that I feel like are worthy of an answer for this question. You know, like so much crazy stuff happens. But I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know. This tour was amazing, because we got into so many places that we like hadn't even been to before, like as people.
The story about the trying to check into the hotel is kind of funny.
Yeah, that was one.
Kind of a long...
Yeah, that's kind of a longer story, because you know, we're trying to save money, so we always say that it's only 2 people staying in the room. Because we on this tour, for safety reasons, we got like a hotel or a place to stay every single night. Yeah. For safety reasons.
I mean, cheap.
cheap ones.
But yeah, we got caught one time, and they were like peeking out the window. We could like see them through the slats of the blind.
It was so funny.
And we were just like, what do we do?
It's hard to explain just how insane that experience was. Because it was like we were staring at them, and they were
there was
staring
like
at
a
us.
standoff for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Before they came out and was like, you have way too many people.
Yeah.
You just guys have binoculars staring at them while
you're it was almost like
that's
that.
What it was like.
It was
like,
crazy.
Yeah, Davey took the
blow.
Yeah, for us. He went in there and they yelled at him for us. He was like, I got this one. You guys already handled this earlier. I was like, thanks, man. So he got yelled at, and then we paid an extra $30. It was totally fine. Yeah, going to our tour ended in Oregon. Unfortunately, we didn't get to finish the whole thing, but that was amazing because we got to explore. Yeah, we also, when we were in Colorado, we did this drive, which you could go see buffalo that are just on this like conservation piece of land, protected land, and it was amazing. There was like all these different
prairie dogs.
Yeah, the prairie dogs were so cute. But I don't know if there even was a sign, but we didn't know that you weren't supposed to get out of your car.
Oh yeah.
Because we got out of our car to like, I mean, there were no animals.
There's definitely a sign.
Oh really? Did you see it?
I saw it. Yeah, it was like, yeah.
Why didn't you mention that to us?
Well, I didn't see that we'd be fined.
Oh,
I didn't know
gotcha,
we'd be
gotcha. Well, we
fined.
didn't get fined, but and we weren't close to animals or anything. I'm definitely like, people should not be getting out of their cars in like those types of situations, you know, and like let the animals do their thing. But we had no idea, and we were just stoked. So we were getting out and like taking pictures and stuff, and it was pretty far away. It was like a humongous buffalo, but it was funny because this lady's like, you could get like a $500 fine. But yeah, no, we saw that. We saw some kind of like, it was like a hawk or something that was eyeing the prairie dogs. And we saw some like elk. It was amazing. And this was just like in the middle of the tour. We were like, holy shit. Yeah, that was wonderful. It's just cool to go into all these different, you know, ecosystems and different cities and climates. It was amazing. And those were our first shows in California, which were really cool. It was really, really cool.
And I guess I have to ask, how about was it in Austin? You know, how was the vibe here in Austin? I hope it treated you guys well too.
Yeah, dude, that show is so fun. Austin's wonderful.
It's always fun there.
We've been lucky enough to play Austin a few times in the past. And yeah, we love it. We've spent some time there. It's such a cool city. We have some friends that moved there just because it's awesome, you know. But yeah, Austin is wonderful. We hadn't played that venue before. That was a really cool venue. And yeah, that show was really fun. Everyone was super nice. It was a really good show. And then there was like a crazy like dubstep show next door that we got into for free. I think anyone who had a ticket to our show could just go to it. It was hilarious. It was crazy. I'd never
I think
like
the one right outside to the side, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, and we saw a raccoon at that show.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I didn't see it. I missed it.
That is right. I remember you showing me on your phone. You were super pumped about it. You went ahead and you're like, look, guys, I literally found this raccoon, and I think it went underneath like the pieces of wood.
It's like it has like its own tree house. Like it's amazing.
Oh.
And that in Austin too. You know, rent is not necessarily cheap, so that raccoon is doing very well.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, man. I think at this point he's living like Larry, right? So
yeah, I mean, he's got like a nice loft. It was like a treehouse loft with like the deck. Just saying.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I guess kind of going more into, you know, I guess the band itself, you know, you guys have a pretty sizable fan base, if I say so myself. You know, so what makes your fan base so unique, and so why are they the best fans in the world to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's just amazing that anyone's listening, and we're so grateful because, you know, it is helping us to like continue to just focus on music, you know. I mean, it's amazing. We're getting checks in the mail that help us, you know, pay rent and continue to do this, and it's so wonderful. And on that tour especially, like everyone was so nice and so sweet, and people would drive to come see us from like far away, and it was just like such a surprise. Like it's so funny because we do have a lot of listeners, but I mean, we're still a smallish band, as in we're still like growing, and like and there's so many new things for us. Like just going on that tour was such a new experience. It was so awesome. But yeah, no, I mean, everyone's so nice, and just having people like buy stuff from our merch store, like write us notes, like come to the show and talk to us at the merch table. Like really some people like made us some stuff. It was the sweetest thing, and it's just mind blowing. Like you can't even really like fathom it. It doesn't make sense. Like it's hard to make sense of it. But it's wonderful. I mean, people like you, like it was so nice for you coming up to us in Austin, just like making us feel at home, you know, like it makes such a difference, especially for bands that are like on the road for a while and like tired, you know.
Yeah, and I think especially because I mean, like you guys are very interactive with your fans, and that's the thing I like about, you know, I always like the smaller bands because I feel like it's more personal, especially here at the shows where I think with another Michael, when I was there, like we just went to Buc-ee's and all that stuff, and I'm like, did you try their beaver chips there? Just screaming at them, and they responded, and it was just like kind of like you guys, you were talking to the audience, and they talked back, and it was just like a conversation, and it was even more fun because I know that at your merch table you had a little book that has little drawings.
Yeah, the drawing contest.
Yeah, and it was just
that was
cool.
A new idea, which was a lot of fun. I'm so glad we came up with that idea when we were in Boston rehearsing, because we found this like green notebook that had these like empty pages, but it was like a hardcover book. And we're like, what is like, or are we about to write our like, a novel?
On sale, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're like, are we about to write our memoirs? And we're like, no, we're about to have a drawing contest every night. Yeah, it was so fun, and it was just like fun to interact with people that way, and then like see what people drew. Like the next day, we like all look at it in the car and stuff. It was so fun. We're definitely gonna do that on every tour now. It's
how many drawings did you typically get towards the end of the tour?
I mean, we had like it was like 5 pages of drawings like per show, and we did like 20 shows or something, right?
Yeah,
it was like 100. Yeah, it was like 100 pages of drawings, and they're all like really entertaining and funny, and some of them are really good, and some of them are just super fun. But yeah, I'm a big supporter. I'm a big supporter of fun merch tables and interesting merch tables and supportive merch tables. Like, I don't know, like bringing your bandmates projects to the merch table as well. Like we sold some Drench Fry shirts, which is our guitarist Levi's band. And that was fun too, because people are like, what's that? And then like they check out his music, and then they freaking fall in love with his music. I'm trying to get Davey, our bassist, to bring Bunny Boy merch to the merch table. He didn't have enough time to get it together for this last tour, but I'm trying to make sure he does for the next tour.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I know that next week I actually have Davey coming in. Yeah, so
that would be a fun.
I completely forgot about that. That is going to be an extremely interesting conversation. I'll have to tune in for that one, because that is the most interesting person in the world right there.
Yeah.
He told me specifically after have emailed you these questions. He straight up told me, he's like, label the email poop so I know it's important. And I'm just like,
oh my god.
Yep, that's Davo for you. That is entertaining talk, let me tell you.
Yeah, and it's so fun because I mean, like, he goes, and again, this show is for a university, so he goes and promotes it on his Instagram page, and he says, I'm going to have like mature responses to this university podcast or show. So I'm just like, I straight up was talking to him, and I'm like, you know what, this sounds very fun. And I mean, I guess kind of not straying too far away, but I mean, you guys have a diverse cast of bandmates. I think, with Davey's music compared to, Boyscott in general, it's just different, but it makes it, again, just so diverse. And I think that's what also makes it, especially with Emma's band, it's diverse. And I think it just what brings everything together and what makes such a wonderful environment that everyone loves, including me. Because, again, I don't think I would have probably known anyone if it wasn't for this whole ecosystem that's going on. So I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same with us. It's everything. I mean, we met Davey and discovered Bunny Boy in 2017 when we were doing a tour with our band and Emma's old band. And we played at like a coffee shop with him. And we didn't even really get to like chill with him much. Like, because I had found his stuff online. We were looking for a show in New Hampshire. I found his stuff online, and he was playing shows in New Hampshire at the time. So I was like, oh, do you want to set up a show together? And then I fell in love with his music. But we didn't really get to chill with him. And the only memory I have from that night is him like telling us, he's like, oh, sorry, like you can't come stay at my place. Like, I apologize. Like, I'm with my parents right now, and they want to keep the place clean. And I was like, no worries. And he's like, all right, well, don't eat gum off the sidewalk. And then he just like vanished into the night. And I was like, wow, that was Bunny Boy. And it wasn't for 2 years later that then we got like a lot closer to him. And again, it's like, I wouldn't have even known that guy if it wasn't for the music scene. And this was like a small, like no one came to that show. Like, it was amazing. And I'm just like such a huge fan of his music, and like I'm inspired by his music. And dude, it's just the best. It's amazing. Same with Drench Fries. I mean, we became friends because of the music scene. We actually met in Austin, or no, in Dallas.
I think in Houston.
But we played, in Houston, sorry.
But we did play with them.
But we played as Drench Fries in Austin. That was like when we started becoming friends.
Yeah.
Austin specifically, we like went out for dinner and stuff. But yeah, it's everything. And even from like a fan thing too, like, from listening to Bunny Boy and seeing bands that he's like he's got me into so many artists and stuff like that.
Of course, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think like it kind of goes back to the whole, diversity within the whole band. So I think that's kind of cool, and it means a lot. But I guess kind of moving on a bit, for your band, right? For you guys' band, how does a song come into existence? Is there any themes you try to follow, perhaps?
Oh, like a new song?
Yeah, so like when you're making a song, is there something you try to focus on specifically or so?
It's the age-old mystery. I mean, it's funny. It's like songs are so freaking weird. Like, how do you even come up with a new idea? Like, it just happens. Like, I mean, I guess when it comes to lyrics and stuff, you can definitely like forcibly like take it in a direction. But as far as like the song itself and like riffs and stuff like that, like I have no idea how it happens, but it just does. But you know, for our new songs in particular, we've been working on them for so long. And yeah, I mean, you know, your interests change and stuff, and then
I feel like for this album you were trying to really make it more dynamic.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I wanted to be, I mean, for our songs, I like to make them fun.
Yeah.
And luckily, on tour, I have the opportunity to like play with the band, and really it's rehearsals, I think, where a lot of the work is done, because I mostly just make the songs wherever we have our studio, whether it's in like the bedroom or that theater or a room in the house that's set up for music. And I usually do it myself and kind of try to like flesh out all the ideas myself. But then when I take it to the band, sometimes we flesh out new stuff for tour, those guys always like impress me with something, and then it ends up, you know, me having to take a lot of time and like change the song around. But yeah, I mean, it depends on the song. Each song is different. It's so crazy. And these old songs that are new songs that we're working on just feel really old. But yeah, they've had quite the life of changing depending on like different band members in the band and like how we tackle the song and stuff. So but yeah, I have no idea how they happen. It's crazy. There's only been like a few times that I'm like, oh, I want to do a song that's like about this, or like that somehow has this, you know.
Harder to do it that way, I feel like.
Yeah, oh, it's very hard unless you have like an idea already ready and you like try to like morph it to that. But yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense, especially for.
Well, I feel like for some of your songs though, you try to think of like a certain memory or experience.
True, or place, yeah.
Yeah, maybe more for the lyrics, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. It's really hard to say. For the old album, for Goosebumps, some songs like happened really quickly, and like I like essentially like just made it in a day sometimes, and then other ones like it took a long time of like fleshing out and figuring it out.
And it's interesting because, again, going back to the concert that you performed here in Austin, when I had the privilege once again to listen to the new songs, it sounded like a Boyscott song. It didn't, you know, and that's the thing that's very fun about it, because it didn't feel different. It felt like a song that you've made. And I know there's like a lot of bands you can probably name that are just very like, that doesn't sound like you, right? And I think that's what kind of falls out about a lot of other bands, you know. And I'm not throwing shade or whatnot, but it's much more that, you know, sometimes when you listen to other bands, they're just kind of like, that wasn't who you sounded like when I first heard you.
No, I mean, it's true, and you know, the longer it's been since an album, like people change, or they want to just tackle something, try something different, you know. But I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, I'm super glad to hear that, because I was worried about that. I feel like the songs are a little different, but they're totally not. It's just because I'm tackling it a different way this time. But
and it's because it has a jingle. Again, I think for every song you have, there's a jingle to it that is just like you can jam in your car, just kind of snap your finger while you're driving and everything. And when I heard this here again, it was just much more that I was like, holy cow. I was like, when are you guys gonna release this? And I was just like, come on, come out soon. But yeah, again, your songs are your songs, and again, it's something that I know that it's you because it sounds like you. If that makes any sense, you know.
So it's gonna sleep well tonight.
Yeah, dude, I really appreciate you saying that, man. I was worried this new stuff wasn't gonna sound the same, man.
No, trust me. Like, yeah, and for the listeners or viewers who are watching this soon, well, I know it's live right now on the radio, but for the people on YouTube watching, again, you guys, when you guys hopefully get to listen to this soon, if you know something goes on, I promise you, it is the same feeling, and it's the best feeling. So I can't wait. I think that's something that it's on my bucket list. Hopefully, not bucket list, but just much more. It's on the list to wait. You know, just kind of fingers crossed soon. But I guess talking about songs in general, here's a hard question, guys. What's some of your favorite songs you've made?
That we've made.
Let's make it a little bit harder. Name like your top 3 songs you've made that in the Boyscott.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your favorite Goosebumps?
Songs that are out already?
You can, hey, if you wanna like tease a little bit, maybe new songs or maybe the Goosebumps,
Yeah, it's a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, it's interesting. Oh
Very
yeah,
well,
yeah.
right? There you go.
Um,
Which is not actually because of the song. We just like Killer Whales. They just look cool.
The colors are just insane. But no, that's a great question. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like we've kind of changed. I mean, not really, but when we play those old songs live, they're a little bit different.
Just pick three. Come on.
Right. Anyway, really proud of those new versions, but I definitely like Embarrassingly Enough a lot. Like when we play that one live, and I like Lake House a lot, and I like Nova. So yeah, I'm definitely like.
Really and that would be in order though, from like first to second and third.
I don't know. I guess so. Maybe. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. It's tough to say in order.
I like Sleepwalk. I didn't make these songs.
Yeah, it was fun
to play them.
Yeah, Emma joined the band like right after the album was released, which was a bummer because it was like, it would have been really great to
missed opportunity.
Had your input.
But now you're here again for the new one, right? So kind of made up for old times there.
Yeah, she was playing with this amazing band at the time called Slumbers. That was her like project from high school into college. And actually we recorded that one the summer after we recorded it. Yeah, we recorded it at the same house we did Goosebumps a year later. And it's the band called Slumbers, and the album's called Come Over. And it's amazing, and I'm super proud to have been like a part of helping them just like get those out there.
Definitely.
And they recorded a second album, but it's kind of like just on a drive somewhere, and I'm like super proud.
I'm really proud of those songs
to have been a part of that. Like those are probably some of like I'm super proud of my own stuff, and I'm super excited for our new album. But I'm like definitely like just I feel fulfilled that I worked on those songs with her, and her eventual new album too.
And for you, what are your songs for the whole Boyscott, either be from the new album or perhaps the Boyscott? What would be your top three currently?
Oh, I forgot about the new album.
Oh, for me or him?
Or for you?
Oh yeah, for your top three songs of Boyscott.
Oh, oof, that's tough. I mean, some of the new songs are really fun to play. The ones we played on tour that you heard are some of my favorite because they're just one that's, can I say the names?
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
After Dark, it's a new one. That's so fun to play.
Yeah.
But the old ones, Embarrassingly is really, I really like that one. And
yeah, that was fun to play.
We didn't play Sleepwalk, did we? But I do love playing that one.
Oh no, we played that one.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are probably my top three.
Right on. And I guess I have to come in. I have to come in, and my favorite is probably R.I.P. Sophie Moore.
Oh yeah, a lot of like
it's so catchy. I mean, I think if I had to put mine, I think it'd probably be Nova Scotia. I think I shared it with Scott for my Spotify Wrapped. Literally, that was like the top songs. Like I think 2 out of the 5 songs on my top songs were Boyscott. And my top artist there, I think Scott, Boyscott's was there, and I was just like, holy cow! The first thing I did was I just took a screenshot and sent it to him, and I was like, look at me and everything. So, but yeah, I think it has to be maybe Nova Scotia 500. I think that's probably my first one, and then it's R.I.P. Sophie Moore, and then Embarrassingly Enough. I think those ones are the ones that catch me, and it's just like, oh my god, I love it. So I'm glad now we buried the hatchet there, and we kind of understood now the real, the songs that you love the most, right? So outside of songs, what are you listening to right now? What are some things you're just jamming out to right now casually? If it isn't, or perhaps maybe it's inspiring you to do some music. I don't know. What do you think?
We're about to go to a show, a Pine Grove show, but the opener is Lily Konigsberg, and we're obsessed with her music.
Yeah, both of those.
She has like 5 different projects, and they're all amazing. And yeah, I'm definitely very obsessed.
Yeah, we've been listening to her. Yeah, I mean, we listen to both those. It's gonna be an amazing show. Both because she released an album recently enough, and then Pine Grove just released their new album. We love both those albums. Listen to a lot of the New Porches album. Towns Van Zandt, just the hits. Just listen to that often. It just puts you in a nice place. What else have we been listening to? I guess I should look at my phone maybe.
I can't think right now.
Can't think.
With me, I kind of putting myself into it. Oh my god, I've listened. I think it was over like 48,000 minutes listened on Spotify, and it's just I kind of got inspired to collect vinyls. So when I first saw that you guys were repressing it a while back, I was literally on my computer swiping my keyboard to buy that vinyl, and I was like, come on. And just going off of like Discogs, for example, oh my god, the prices for some vinyls are nuts.
Oh, really?
And I think they were reselling, I think, one of your first presses of Goosebumps, and it was kind of expensive. I think it was like $200 some at first they wanted for the first couple pressings.
No.
Yeah. If you go to Discogs,
that's so cool.
For the first couple of pressings, they wanted an arm and a leg for that. And I was just
kind of messed up.
We're making a new vinyl now that we're excited about. It's not going to be out until I think May, maybe. There's like this huge backup with like vinyl plants and stuff. But wow, yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. That's
and when I finally got the vinyl, it was such a beautiful color, and I guess kind of I know this is part of what we originally said, but how did that color, I guess, kind of. What inspired you to get that certain color? Do you have like a say in the process of that?
Yeah. Which color did you get?
I got the kind of like the green one. It was like a dark green color, I think.
Ooh.
Oh, was it like green and yellow swirl or?
Yeah. I think I have a photo of it. Let me.
Yeah, that's because we've got a green and yellow swirl one. That's our favorite for sure. I'm glad you got that one. We
just try to match the album cover kind of with greens and blues and
because in 2019 we signed on to repress or reissue, I guess, the album on vinyl with Babe City Records and Top Shelf Records, which are friends. It was fun. It was fun to go through the colors. I mean, there's only like certain colors available sometimes, depending on when you're ordering it.
Oh, that's
I think that was that one.
Super.
Yeah,
that's probably the best one.
Stoked on that one. Yeah, I know it's so mind-blowing that we have that album on vinyl. Vinyl is so cool. It's such a cool thing.
And do you guys collect vinyls?
What'd you say?
Do you guys collect vinyls?
That's one.
Yeah,
we don't have a working record player right now, so we don't have a big collection.
I also don't just have most of my records. A lot of them are at my dad's house.
I know, a lot of them are at my parents.
Yeah, we just I think just because we've been moving.
We just move a lot, so it's hard.
We move a lot, so instead of like just lugging it all with us, we just kind of like keep it.
Someday though,
But I would love to someday have all of them together to be able to look at them and feel proud. But yeah, vinyl's
Paul Winter vinyl though.
Yeah,
this because we love the album cover.
Yeah, and some of the songs are.
And we actually met him because our friend. He lives in Connecticut, and our friend is his like assistant basically.
Yeah.
And he lives on this beautiful property, and we got to tour his property. And
he lives on like I don't know how many acres,
gorgeous.
but it's the Connecticut woods are like so beautiful, and they live like right.
They have horses.
River going through it. They've got like bears in there too. But yeah, I'd love to have a collection someday that we can physically carry with, or just I don't know. It would be cool to live somewhere longer than 6 months or a year, and then be able to like make it really like
someday.
Yeah, and again, don't every time I have the ongoing joke with the vinyl collection I have, I'm like, just don't tell my mom, because she knows I'm addicted to collecting, and the vinyl that you guys pressed and I got, I showed it to her, because every vinyl I always show it to her, and she's like, oh my god, how much was this? And when I showed it your vinyl to her, she really loved it, and she's like, wow, and she's like, come on, let's go to your room and start playing it. And she sat down and she actually enjoyed your music, and I think she's actually listening right now. So
hey, shout out.
But yeah, so I mean, she kind of it was you guys did an awesome job on that. I think that's something that I'm also anticipating for the next album to see what tricks you got up your sleeve.
Oh,
So
thank you.
but yeah, kind of going back real quick to the whole music thing for you. What other than what other bands are you listening to? Can you name some top bands for you guys, including you, Gemma?
Well, we've since touring with another Michael because they were on the tour as
We're
well. We've been
obsessed,
listening to
yeah.
them a lot, and they are working on new music too, and they've sent us some mixes, and they're amazing.
It's
So
amazing.
we've been listening a lot to that.
Yeah, definitely go check out another Michael, everybody. Really, really good. Let's see, band Quaker Parents from Canada.
Yeah.
Always floating back into our heads. Eliza as well is from Quaker Parents. Her music's amazing. Bunny Boy, we said this before.
Bunny Boy, Drench Fries.
But our bassist Bunny Boy.
We're always bumping them.
Yeah.
Even though
Levi of Drench Fries is going on tour this spring.
Denmate, our friends, just
is a great
released
band
a new album
from DC that's just released.
I think it's just on Bandcamp though, right?
I think it might be. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Bandcamp exclusive.
But yeah, I mean, we just been listening to a lot of our friends' music. We usually do that. And then there's a few albums here or there that we get obsessed with that just come out or whatever.
And do you guys ever find yourself listening to you guys, Boyscott? Does Boyscott listen to Boyscott?
Before I joined the band, I was a fan. Like I loved Goosebumps because I was friends with you, but I didn't play in the band yet.
Yeah.
But I don't really listen to it now that I'm in the band.
We listen to our shit every day, though, like 24/7 every day when we're writing stuff, so.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, again, it's always that catchy tune. I've said it and I'll say it again. It's always that catchy tune that always catches my ear, and a lot of other people. And I guess it kind of slides into the next, question we have is, again, if we're allowed to talk about it, your next project.
Of course.
We can't talk about it too much because you don't want to spoil too much, right? But
I'm happy to spoil.
We can spoil it all. We're not.
Let me tell you every song. Let me tell you the duration of every song.
Yeah, we're finally getting closer to finishing that album. Finally, we're super stoked to get those songs out. They're super old songs for us, even though they're new songs. And they've come a long way. There's been all sorts of different versions of them that we've played on tour. And finally, I feel like we found decent enough versions that we're happy with it. But yeah, no, we're stoked. I mean,
it'll come out this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Yeah, we're finishing it up.
It better come out.
Our friend might help mix it for us soon. And yeah, we're super stoked to get that one out so we can work on the new ideas that we have that are.
And is there a possible timeline perhaps you can let us all in?
It's tough to say, but
yeah, unfortunately we're not quite there yet. I mean, it would be awesome if we could have something out by the summer. We're definitely trying to finish all of it up in time for the spring.
In the next couple of months.
Yeah, so that would be awesome. Because we've been working on it for so long and it's just been kind of draining. Just keep working on the same songs, but yeah, no, I'm excited for you to hear them. I'm excited to see what you think.
Of course,
I'm so glad to hear you liked what you heard live. That is really good to hear.
Yeah, again, I at the time I wish I would have just recorded that. I was too busy just bopping my head back and forth. I don't have many videos actually of the concert of you guys. It was just much more of me just bobbing my head back and forth, screaming the songs, and I guess also to praise you a little bit more. I think it was perfect what y'all did, with the masks and the whole vaccine thing and whatnot, keeping your fans safe, because I feel like that's the most important thing, especially returning, from the pandemic where this is an extremely serious thing. And
exactly.
Praise to you guys. I had gone to other concerts where you didn't have to show you anything at all to get in, and there would be people with no masks, and it made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But
exactly, it's a bummer.
But going to you though, I felt safe. It felt something
Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, because there's no reason not to. It's we went how long without having live music, and it's if doing that just makes it that much more comfortable for everybody. It's wow.
And that's you can do it safely that way. You know what
exactly,
I mean? If everyone's has
if
to show
everyone
proof of
complies,
vax,
yeah.
everyone wears a mask, then it's like
we can do this, you know, we can take care of each other and be responsible and enjoy the things that we love again, you know. You just have to do it the right way, and it's not hard to do it the right way. I mean, that was a wonderful show. Everyone felt really comfortable there and safe, and it was. Yeah, no, I'm super glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So yeah, again, but that was awesome. And then just kind of now going a little bit more deep, right? Looking back at your success right now, what you guys built individually and as a group, what words would you give to yourself, your younger self specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to just not stress out so much, not to worry so much about things. Just to know that, you know, we're all here to just trying to enjoy ourselves.
I would tell myself that right now.
Yeah, I was trying to tell myself that right now. Yeah, no, just to have fun, because that's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh, it's just fun. Tour is just fun. I mean, tour is extremely stressful and hectic and tiring, but it's like the greatest thing of all time. And and it's so much fun, and making music and getting to do this is so much fun. So if anything, I would just tell myself to just like relax, don't be too stressed out. You know, it's scary trying to jump into stuff like this without being too aware of how things really work and how it all goes. But yeah, I mean, for anyone that's interested, it's super doable, you know. I mean, we just started going to shows.
Try it, and you do some shows that you do terribly at. Just try and play, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, just go to a ton of shows, see how it goes.
Oh yeah, go to a
see
bunch of shows.
how shows are done, see how songs are kind of
sounding.
sounding.
Write terrible songs until you write a better one, you know.
Yeah, yeah, just have fun. Don't be too nervous. Like shows, no reason to be too nervous. Obviously, you're gonna get nervous. Everyone gets nervous, but
I still get nervous.
Yeah, Emma still gets nervous. I don't really get nervous.
Well, just for the first couple of shows.
I only get nervous during rehearsals. If we're not sounding good at rehearsals, then I'm nervous. But once we sound good, I know there's nothing to be nervous.
I was even nervous to come talk to you guys. I mean, you guys, I've talked to you guys over there at the concert. You know, you should have seen me. Literally when I left the table, my hands were like violently shaking, and I was just like, and it's just something because it's like, for people who don't know, and I think I mentioned it slightly to you, I have a thing where I like to bring drumsticks to my favorite bands. Right. And I've done it with, what did I do it with? I did it with Surf Curse, I did it with the Idols, and I did it with you guys. And it was just like, with me, it's important, to give back. I understand it isn't something too huge, but it's something that we're just like, you know what, these people kind of helped you through a time, kind of when I was in high school, it was kind of going through like a rough patch in my life. And just kind of listening to, your band and whatnot, it helped me, it paved the road a little bit more easier for me to get through. So, little things like that, it just made it goes a long way. So, the drumsticks are just a little like, thank you and whatnot. So,
yeah, well, that goes a long way for us too, and I really appreciate that. I know that feeling. I've been in the same boat, and, specific albums and artists, like it can get you through things and it can help you and it can brighten your mood, and it's amazing. And so yeah, that was really sweet. Thanks for doing that for us too.
Of course, yeah. And for yourself, Emma, what words would you say for your younger self?
For your younger self.
Oh, for younger self. Oh, get into therapy earlier.
No, that's the real thing.
No, though, but seriously,
just
I
like
wish I had.
in life, everyone's dealing with stuff, and it's like
or I guess just like don't be afraid to, speak out, talk to people, like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny. Like looking back, it's like looking back to when I was in high school, looking back to when I was after that, when I went to college and stuff. It's like we were still such young people, like you're a very young person, you know what I mean? Like it's still there's so much time to figure things out, even if you don't start figuring things out from like 5 years from now, like you've got so much time, and just don't be too hard on yourself. It's like we're all doing this in this crazy country. So yeah, no, I agree, same thing. Yeah, and it's for artists and for people who aren't artists, is there's stuff to go through, so just allow yourself to go through it. Don't be too hard on yourself.
Of course, well, I appreciate that. And I guess just kind of at this point, we're just kind of closing it right now. And is there anything you want to shout out? Closing thoughts or statements? Anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to point out? Here's the spotlight on you guys again.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe just remember to recycle. Reduce, reuse things when you can. There's no reason to be wasteful anymore. Keep wearing your masks. You might as well, because it's still going on. It's not too hard. It's not too hard in the winter months. It's actually kind of nice. It's nice and warm.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I can think to plug right now. Go check out those bands we mentioned before. And thank you to you. You're doing a great job. Yeah. Really impressed. Seriously, we've done plenty of interviews with people, and it's nice to.
We're excited to hear Bunny Boys.
Yeah, we are definitely.
Oh man, I'm excited too for that. But yeah, guys. Again, Scott and Emma, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you guys. It means a lot. I know a lot of people work. If you guys want a little bit more information on Boyscott, you can follow them on their Instagram at Boyscott Social Media Maniac. There you can find a link tree to all of their merch, all their music. If you want a little bit more about the band, go ahead and check them out. They're really awesome, and I love them a lot. So once again, thank you all for just swinging on by. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my new project. I didn't think this would ever, lift off. So
good for you. It's amazing.
Well, anyways, thank you guys so much, and
of course, yeah.
I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, I am signing off. All right.